Okay guys, welcome in another part of our tutorial. Today we will add additional animation to what we have exported to Unity last week. It will be idle animation. So right now we have a basic movement. It's a bit different model than we had last week because I forgot to save. This one is almost identical. I will upload this mesh for you all to download. What we are going to add now is animation for when the finger is idle. So it just doesn't move all the time, but instead is idling around. And while idling, it will then link it to the Unity and export it out to the VRChat and see how it goes from there. I have idea for like 2 or 3 more tutorials about this. So I guess next week we'll do the textures or tweak the animations even more, because right now it's still a bit wonky. So without further ado, let's start making the idle animation. Okay, so what we want to do is the finger to stretch out and stand still while it's in its default idle mode, and only use the walk animation when it will be walking. So let's add more frames. Right now our animation is capped at 40 frames, which is basically our full animation. Let's say the standing still will require about, I don't know, 1 second, even less, let's say 20 frames to stand up. And let's start at that. So we increase the frame count to 60. We are in a pose mode. Drag the finger and let's say we want our finger in this, right, at this position. Alright, so having it set here, we are going to press key I to get the new keyframe. So you see we already have movement animation. What we will want next is the finger to idle about for a moment. So we don't want it to just stand still, but for example look around way of acting. So let's look at it this way. We can see it's a bit crooked, but it's a finger, so I don't think many people will notice that something is wrong about it, right? So let's say we'll have a 2 seconds or so. That will be 40 frames. So let's go all the way to the 100. So let's increase the end to 100 and let's make the animation right that it looks left, and let's keyframe it. So the finger is looking around, and another second or so. Let's see, 24, 1 second, 2 seconds. Let's give it 2 seconds to move to another. So you want a frame 140. Obviously you can change anything you want in here, whatever fits your idea of what finger should do when it's idling. Alright, so we have our finger. We are making it quite simple, right? So it's moving left, and and it doesn't move right, moves to the right. Sorry, I must have broken something because it moves here and then it doesn't move here. So let's fix it up. Let's move to this frame, move the finger this way and press I key. And I forgot to keyframe it. Sorry, cat is in the way. Go away, go away. Okay, he's away. So we have our finger moving and looking around, right? So it's like, I look this way, now this way, everything's fine. So let's now make it stand for a second or two. Sorry, that's cat throwing stuff away out of the drawer, nasty little thing. So 140, let's make it another 2 seconds or so of just standing, maybe even 3 seconds. That would be 75. Let's go to, I know this is just guesswork, right? I don't really know how long it should work. It should be tweaked then to make it look great, but as I said early in the previous movie, I am not really an animator. I am a programmer, so not really much idea about animation, only basics, but just enough to help few of you who don't know anything about Bones or Blender Alright, so we have our finger around basic position. Basically I'm making the finger go back to its default position. Okay, is it right? It's alright. So it's looking left, right. It goes down, but maybe it shouldn't go down. Maybe it should go up to this position. Okay, let's make him move. Let's make it move to this position. Yeah, I already assumed the gender by accident, but okay, let's fix it up a bit, because he should be here, right? It's still too early to me and I'm half asleep. So okay, let's get X, Y, and Z to these positions and see how it goes. Yeah, we can see the finger assuming all the weird awkward poses, but it will sort out in just a jiffy. And the third. And the last one. Alright, so what we did here is make it move, look to one side, the other side, and then assume its neutral position. And now we'll simulate breathing, so for the light, I don't know, another few frames, it will move slightly down, slightly up, and again slightly down. And for the last, where are we? And for the last, I don't know, well, let's say about a second, or even less, right? Let's move it here. We'll make him assume the neutral position. So we'll have to copy the values out of here. What is my cat doing right now? Sorry, he's messing with me today. Okay. I believe this is the neutral position we will be aiming for. And last coordinate. Yeah, and it's all good. So what we have right now is the movement animation, which is almost identical to what we did last week. Then at frame 41 we have standing still, looking right, looking left, and then just breathing. It might be a bit, should be slower maybe, but that all can be tweaked later on. Let's say play. Yeah, moving, standing still, watching, looking one side, looking other side, breathing, and landing on the toe. Okay, so I guess that would be all. The animation is 220 frames long, so let's set the end to 220, and we are basically done with this right now. We just have to remember that from frame 0 to frame 40 we have walking animation, and from frame 41 to the end we have the idle animation. We will export it now and then go to the Unity. Exporting as usual using FBX, yeah. And let's find the work in progress move. Work in progress, yeah, right. Just the way it should be, and make sure to selected objects and export. Yeah, I think it exported both, but just in case, we'll make sure of it while in Unity. If something went wrong, we'll just export it one more time from Blender. Okay, the other part now is that we'll have to move the finger into our Unity project. One thing that changed from previous tutorial is that I noticed that you do not have to bake the animation anymore. It was mentioned in one of the older tutorials that you do have to bake them, but it seems that's not the case anymore, and you can use the bound animation. So that's the main difference between the tutorial from the last week and this one. We've exported model just as we've created it, with its keyframes, without adding the bake step, which basically ruins these hotkeys and makes the model uneditable. Okay, So, what do we do first? Exactly same as the previous week. Let's move the finger to the scene. Let's add the tutorial avatar to make sure the scale is just right. I'm not sure how. Let's put it in. Oh, why didn't it type anything? Great. So that's how big our finger is going to be. I think that's alright for the model like that. Go away, avatar. Go away, avatar. Okay. Now, the finger. What it needs is basically the same steps like last week. Let's find the simple avatar controller and copy it to our finger folder. Let's rename it. There's no rename. F2. Rename it to simple finger avatar controller. I'll add the number 3 because I have the other one in the project from before when I was testing the idea. Okay, so we have a finger and we need to add the animations to it. As you can see, it only has one clip right now, which is one long animation. Everything we've did. What we will do is let's add an animation. Let's go and add 1 and 2. This one we'll call walking or walk, or maybe finger walk, because there is other walk animation by default inside the SDK project and we don't want to mix them up. And walk will go from start, that is the frame 0, up to the frame 40, just as we remembered, and it should be looping. Alright, so now that it loops, let's play it, and we see that's indeed walking. You can see it playing in this selection, and that's our finger crawling. Perfect. Now let's add the other one. We'll call it finger idle, and from frame 41 up to the end. I think the breathing part of the finger is off, but okay, that's alright. And it should be looped as well. We'll leave this one for now like it is. We can always play with these options later. This one is not really required anymore, so we have the 2 animations. Let's press apply, and that's almost it. Quite easy, isn't it? Let's go and see what we are missing inside our finger. We've got the animator. Let's put the control. Yeah, neighbors. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but neighbors are making noises today. So right, we have a simple finger avatar controller, and let's add the VRChat avatar descriptor. What we should do now is set the eye point when we are seeing from. We can see that our model right now will view the scene from this point. So let's make it a bit lower. Let's say 1. Might be still 0.5. Okay, I think that's better. And Z is how far we are going to be. Okay, so we are going to observe our eyes are here right now. So we will see our finger from third-person perspective. We need to link the animation files to the poses. I almost forgot that, which is silly because it's like basic and most important thing you can do. But alright, we double press the simple finger controller, and we are interested in the layers, base and animation layer. At the base layer we should add our animation from the finger, and that should be finger idle. We move it here, and you see that as soon as the animation start or the model is loaded, it goes into finger idle. Speed is 1. We don't mirror it, we don't do anything else like this. I guess you could try adding something more complicated, but we are making a basic tutorial, so it's not needed. And then, just like the last week, we go to the animation layer, double click on blend tree, and override the basic animations provide. So we've got idle, walk, walk right, walk left, and walk. This one is going backwards. Alright, so Let's go to our finger folder. Idle. Let's go and put a finger idle. Right. Then all 3 walk animations, I guess, or 4 walk animations, are replaced by the finger walk. And that's it. It should work now. Let's see how it behaves inside the project. And yes, the finger looks around. It's in its idle state. Let's close and export it to the VRChat. Show build control panel. And see. Okay, so we are inside the VRChat. We can see our finger moving. It's not perfect and it definitely needs some tweaking. But as you can see, the basic animation work. Our finger is looking around. We could tweak it a bit more, but we'll do it in a further videos. We'll be editing the idle animation, maybe changing the movement, because right now it has a sliding feel to it. Like you see, the finger should only move when it's pulling up, but it's moving all the time. I have one idea to try to fix it that should maybe work with the VRChat. If not, we'll make new animation altogether, and the idle animation will require some more editing. We'll make it loop a bit more. So instead of playing its own and then going to the basic animation, it will just stand forever. Okay, as you can see, the jumping, I didn't find a way to modify the jumping animation, so we'll stay at what we have right now. So our roadmap right now is to fix the animations a bit, tweak the idle animation, and then add textures and maybe some other stuff. We'll see how it goes. So see you all, thank you for watching, and see you next week.